Now, why is it so important that you actually understand exactly how the algorithm works? Because the algorithm is exactly like a little baby. Once you have your brand new baby, you don't know when it's time to feed it. You don't know if it wants to play. You don't know if it needs to burp, or if it wants food, or if it wants to poo. You don't know anything about it. So the baby screams at you, and then hopefully you understand that it's time to change their nappy or whatever, or it's time to feed them. It's supposed to be a spoon. Look at how nice that spoon is. But anyway, if you know exactly what your baby needs, then you know exactly what to give your baby. And if you know exactly what to give your baby, then you know how to control that baby. And the same applies for the algorithm. If you understand exactly what the algorithm is looking for, you know exactly what to give it in order for the algorithm to give you what you want back, which is money. So if you want money, you give the algorithm what it wants. But what does the algorithm want? That's the important question. Well, just like we talked about in the keyword section, if you're blind and I give you my book and I tell you the title and the subtitle, you can kind of figure out what it is. If I give you the description, you have a higher chance of figuring out what it is. Now, the algorithm does the same thing. It reads your book listing. It figures out a bunch of keywords that are in the book. So let's say keyword 1, keyword 2, keyword 3, keyword 4. And now that it has these list of keywords that it found inside your book listing because you did your keyword research correctly, now the algorithm is going to test out these keywords to see which ones work for your book and which ones don't. But how does it test it out? Well, let's say keyword 1 is dog training, and let's say keyword 2 is puppy training, and let's say keyword 3 is cat training. Now, since Amazon found these 3 keywords, you're indexed for these 3 keywords, and now it's time for Amazon to test out your book for each one of these keywords that it found. So let's say this is what the search results looks like for keyword 1, keyword 2, and keyword 3. You have the search bar up here, and you have a bunch of results that pop up. Now, what Amazon's going to do is it's going to show your book in one of these search results. So for keyword 1, you might be here. For keyword 2, you might be here. And then for keyword 3, you might be all the way down here. Now, why are you shown so low for keyword 1, but you're shown so high on the search results for keyword 2? And again, you're showing up super low for keyword 3. Why is that? Because here's exactly how the algorithm ranks your book. Ranking basically means how high or how low you're going to show up in the search results for your keyword. So keyword 1 is dog training. Are we ranking high or low? If we're at the bottom of the page, we're ranking low. But keyword 2 for puppy training, we're ranking number 2. So we're ranking high. Why is it that we're ranking in different places for different keywords? Because here's how the algorithm works. The algorithm's main purpose is to make Amazon as much money as possible. So if its purpose is to make as much money as possible, which book do you think Amazon wants to show up on the top of search? Obviously, the book that's going to give them the most amount of money. Now, sometimes it's not really about the most amount of money, but it's about the most amount of sales. So if we had to take a guess, we can say that this book up here is selling a lot more copies for this keyword, keyword 1, dog training, than this book, our book down here. So our book might be selling 10 copies a day, while this one might be selling 12 a day, this one might be selling 14 a day, this one might be selling 20 a day, and this one might be selling 40 a day. So the reason this one's ranking super high is simply because it's selling more for the keyword dog training. However, for the second keyword, puppy training, this one might be selling 10, this one might be selling 14, this one might be selling 21, we might be selling 32, and this one might be selling 35. And the same applies for keyword 3. Might be selling 100 copies here, 150, 200, 300, 400, 450, and 620. Let's say this is the amount of copies that each search results are selling per day. So for keyword 1, we're selling 10 copies a day for dog training, which is keyword 1. Keyword 1 is dog training, and we're selling 10 copies a day. Which is why, because everyone else is selling more copies than us, they're ranked higher. Makes sense. For keyword 2, we're ranking higher because we're selling more copies than the other guys for puppy training book. But here's the thing, it's not actually about how many copies you sell per day, but in fact, it's about who has the highest chance of sale. And how do you calculate the highest chance of sale? Because Amazon is an algorithm, and algorithms are meant to predict future outcomes. So your ranking isn't based on the number of sales, it's based on how likely are you to make a sale. Because this guy might be selling 12 copies a day, and I might be selling 10, but I might have a higher chance of getting a sale. I know what you're thinking, how is that even possible? How do you calculate the chance of something having a sale? Well, here's exactly how you do it. In order to calculate your chance of sale, The algorithm looks at your conversion rate. Now, what's your conversion rate? And here's how you calculate that. Let's say someone searches puppy training, and in 7 days, your book got 100 clicks. Out of those 100 clicks, you got 10 sales. So your conversion rate, how many of those clicks actually converted into sales? In this case, it's 10%, because 10% of 100 is 10. So your conversion rate is 10%. So your chance of getting the sale after you got the click is 10%. So Amazon knows if someone searches puppy training, the chance of them buying your book after clicking on it, if it shows up in the search results, is 10%. So if every single other book has a higher conversion rate than yours, then it means the chance of someone actually buying that book after clicking on it is higher than yours. And if it's higher than yours, Amazon will show it higher than yours. So if there's 5 books here that popped up in the search result, this one is always going to have a higher conversion rate than this one, which is why it's placed at the top, because it has a higher chance of giving Amazon money. Now, your conversion rate is the most important thing when it comes to Amazon, because me and you can have the exact same book. This is my book, this is your book. We can both have a vegetarian cookbook, whatever, vegetarian cookbook, you know what I wrote. So if this one is my one and this one is your one, we're going to have the same book. I can have less reviews than you. I can have 10 reviews while you have 100 reviews. But still, if my conversion rate is 22% and your conversion rate is 16%, I am always going to show up higher than you for the keyword that someone searched to find this vegetarian cookbook. But here's the thing, conversion rate isn't one number for one book. Your conversion rate is based on the keyword that someone searched. So each different keyword, your book has a different conversion rate for that keyword. So what does that mean? Well, that means when Amazon indexes your books for a bunch of different keywords, let's say Amazon indexed our book for 5 keywords. Each one of these 5 keywords has a different conversion rate. So we might convert at 12% for this keyword, 16% for this keyword, 3% for this keyword, 21% for this keyword, and 45% for this keyword. Now, Amazon, just by looking at the conversion rate, Amazon can understand what our book is relevant for. So obviously here, if we have a 12% conversion rate, that's okay, because the average conversion rate on Amazon, can't even spell average, but it's 10%. 10% is the average conversion rate on Amazon. So anything above 10%, Amazon is starting to see that your book is really relevant. Now, I like to aim for at least 20% or more when it comes to conversion rate, because that sends off the correct signals to Amazon that says, wow, this book is exactly what people are looking for, show it higher. So if you can aim for a 20% conversion rate, you're going to succeed. It's very, very, very hard for you not to succeed. I'm going to show you in a bit how to reach a 20% conversion rate. But for now, each keyword has its own conversion rate, which is why you can rank differently for each keyword based on the likelihood of a sale after someone clicked on your book. But just by looking at this, which keyword do you think is more relevant for our book? 12% one, 16, 3, 21, or 45? Obviously 45. This is the most relevant keyword. So whatever this keyword is, Amazon is going to assume that this is what your book is about because it's relevant. Anyone who clicks on it, almost half of them are buying it because it's what they're searching for. This is a very good keyword as well, 21%. But this one here at 3%, Amazon's going to deem this irrelevant because 3% is extremely low. It means if 100 people click on it, 3 people buy, which is super, super low. So if we reveal that keyword 5 is puppy training for kids and keyword 3 is how to raise a chicken for beginners, then Amazon is going to assume that your book is a puppy training for kids. And it's going to assume that it's not a book about raising chickens for beginners. And that's how Amazon can slowly start to see where to put your book and who to show you in front of in order for you to get the most amount of sales.